Meet Andrew Ditch.
I want to leave! I want to leave! Ow! Ow!
I don't want you to hurt my ears!
The doctors?
I want to leave.
Hey, man, come on.
I want to leave. Dad, Mom is on the floor. She fell right off the toilet. The past 2 days I was taking it easy for my emotional well-being, Dad.
Andrew Ditch, also known as the Poop Squatch, is a 38-year-old man from New York. Andrew is primarily known around the internet for his extreme disagreements with his family, usually stemming from accusations of neglect or improper care. From the outside looking in, you would think it's two parents complaining that their son and caretaker is not doing a good job, but in reality it's the exact opposite. Andrew, who is nearly 40, has called the police on his parents hundreds of times for what he claims is improper care. The more you look at it, the fishier this whole thing gets. And the lore of Andrew Ditch has proven to be quite the rabbit hole. But I feel like the best way to explain it is to simply start at the beginning. Andy was born June 7th, 1985, and lived with his brother Joe, his other brother Michael, his father Tom, and mother, Janet. As a child, he was diagnosed with PTSD and was hospitalized numerous times for threats and assaults against his own family. One of the most extreme being antifreeze poisoning that his father Tom suffered. Though it could not be proven, Tom highly suspects that this was Andy. And as we proceed with this video, you'll find that Andy has a history of tampering with consumables. The next pivotal moment in Andy's life would be a car accident that he would be involved in. While riding his bike to his job as a Ronald McDonald performer at McDonald's, Andy was struck in a hit and run. Here is Andy's father Tom speaking about the accident and some of the consequences that it may have had on Andy's life.
And he was riding his bike on Hines over by the apartment and Fletcher. And we got a phone call. We were sitting down to eat dinner. Come and see your son if you want, because otherwise he's going to be dead. He's laying in the middle of the street. So we raced out, got in the car, went over there, and he's laying in the middle of the street. He got hit by a vehicle, hit and run, and he's laying there, you know, his whole face is all mashed up and everything. And we had to call the police and the ambulance, get him to the hospital, whole 9 yards. And they said, well, other than the lesions, bleeding, and probably a concussion, he should be okay. And ever since, we've always questioned whether or not he had brain damage. Get this, Andy used to drive. And he used to have his own computer business in our house. And he was high rated with the Better Business Bureau. And he was an amateur weather meteorologist. And he locates storms at the airport and all these other things. And all that stuff and all the stuff he was interested in, and he loved the slavers. Lost interest. Can't do it. Can't function. No more.
Though immediately Andy didn't display any signs of a brain injury, the National Institute of Health states that it can take years for the consequences of these brain injuries to develop. In certain cases, of course. Do I believe this is the case for Andy? I truly don't know, because that PC business his father spoke about was started well after the accident. Here's a clip of Andy from 8 years ago.
And you're going to plug in from the modem to your router into the WAN port. Sometimes it'll be marked WAN. Sometimes it'll be marked just with the internet symbol, such as what this router has a little universe on there. Hey YouTube, Andy here. I have a challenge for everybody. If you want me to eat poop, I need you to subscribe to my channel, get me 1 million subscribers plus.
Not only did Andrew run a computer business on his own, but he was also an amateur meteorologist, being good enough to actually work with real meteorologists a couple of times. Andrew also lived by himself, taking care of all of his needs. Granted, he didn't make enough money to pay for the apartment and eventually had to move back to the house, where he finds himself in his current situation, living with his mom, dad, and brother Joe. And that was when Andy began to behave in this way. And to say that the family is dysfunctional would be a massive understatement. Let me just show you an average interaction between Andy and his family.
You deny me my test kit for sugar, my medications that use at your house, my property, and my medical rights.
Oh, that's good, Andy. You know, you can play this game too, because right now, I'm doing the same thing you are.
And I've been recording you all along.
Well, good.
It's going on YouTube to how you treat me.
The main thing that Andy accuses his family of is neglect. He will start recording, making claims that his family is denying him his prescriptions, denying him proper care, and not helping him in any way. He'll take this video, edit it, and post it to his YouTube channel, all in an attempt to get pity. That is the main purpose of his presence on social media, to post videos about how his family quote-unquote abuses him and how he is seeking help from the state, only to claim that he has received none. He has received thousands of hours of consultation over the phone, hundreds of hours of in-person care, thousands in medications, and even more in adult diapers. And you know what Andy does with all of these things? Throws them away and tries to blame it on his family members. So they've had to start documenting the things that he's destroyed himself. Here is Andy's father Tom and brother Joe confronting Andy about this.
Why are you forcing me to have
Obvious,
those
Joe, a
things?
lot of it was destroyed.
Yeah, I destroyed my medicines.
You
You
opened
say I
them up
don't
and
need
threw
them.
them
I
out.
don't need help.
So, good.
I don't need your
It
help.
makes it
you
easy
said.
for me to get it out.
You said that. I don't need help. I used to do this stuff all myself.
What are you
You're gonna
twisting things
disturb
you never
the
I
said?
disturbed you.
Because
I'm
if you're
recording,
misbehaving.
so-
Yeah, Andy, I'm
Uncontrollable
recording too.
crap.
Yeah, well, I want that thrown away. I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't have autism. I fucking fake.
Good.
Can you please let me throw it out? This is my shit.
You're having a temper
Please,
tantrum, Andy.
I want
This
to
is
throw
not
it
an
out. I
acceptable
don't
behavior.
want to have autism anymore.
Oh, well.
Please! I don't want diapers anymore! Please! You're forcing me to do something I don't want because you're
Well,
hurting me!
Andy, if you wouldn't act like this, Andy, if you didn't act like this, we wouldn't have this problem.
I can do this shit! I'm calling police.
Yeah, call him.
You're instigating me! And you're being allowed to do this to me, and I'm
No,
asking
we're
you
not
to
allowed to.
please
You're not
throw
allowed
it
to do this.
out!
You're right.
I don't want it anymore!
Well, you don't have a choice in the matter when you misbehave like
I
this.
don't want
we have
them
to do what we
anymore,
have to do.
please!
His family is truly damned if they do and damned if they don't. If they allow Andy to throw out these items, then he's just gonna pin it all on them. He's done it in the past, and if they do confront Andy on throwing these things out, he claims that they're forcing him to use them. Andrew's interactions with these diapers are beyond vile and one of the things that he's most well known for, but also one of the things that I refuse to touch on very much in this video. The things that I have seen and heard are beyond graphic. From infections to talk of just how much Andy likes these diapers, it is hands down some of the most disgusting stuff I have ever had to look into. I beg you to take my word for it. In the previous clip, you heard Andy mention that he didn't like being called a fake. What he's referencing is the fact that everybody mentions that he's never actually been diagnosed with autism, which he adamantly claims to have. If you point out this medical fact that Andy has proven himself, well, he's gonna absolutely lose it on you. Here he is throwing a temper tantrum over being called a fake by his brother and father.
I'm gonna break this so I don't have it! I can't want to live anymore because you bullied me!
He freaking threw
You bullied me! You bullied me and the cops allow you to do it to me!
Okay, go turn on living room light.
Can you go upstairs? Please,
No.
I feel cornered!
No. No.
Please, I want to be left alone. You...
Just in case he does something.
Dad, I want to be left alone. You're bullying me. Please, I want you to stop. I want to get my sneakers, Dad, so I can go run away. Please, I want to get my sneakers since you fucking called me a fucking fake! And you hurt me! I want to get my sneakers, please!
Yeah, he dumped the cranberry juice all the way. He dumped his cranberry juice down there. Into the dog food, destroying the dog food. No.
I'm scared of you,
I don't
Dad.
care what you think you are.
I'm scared of you. You abused me.
It is widely speculated that Andy suffers from Munchausen's syndrome. It is a rare type of mental disorder in which a person fakes illness. The person may lie about symptoms, make themselves appear to look sick, or make themselves purposefully unwell. Andy has been proven to have done all of these things. If you want indisputable proof that he has not been diagnosed with autism, then look no further with this call from the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities, where they state in very plain terms that he has never been diagnosed.
Between February and March 2019, age 33, several psychiatric reports were completed by Trinity Medical, Western New York, PC, and Erie County Medical Center for Mr. Ditch, attachment 16. While some of these reports indicate that Mr. Ditch had an autism spectrum disorder, none of them reference any testing to support this diagnosis. The Erie County Medical Center noted in its March 7, 2019 report, SWAPIC referral details. Per collateral, Andrew has an IQ of 80, central auditory processing disorder, and another processing disorder. He does not have autism. He does not have autism. He does not have autism.
That was the statement of the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities. They went on to say that they believed Andy suffered from schizoaffective disorder, and that his self-diagnosis of autism was in line with symptoms of that. His family are all very aware of this, and his brother Joe has absolutely no patience for any of it, and rightly so. Joe despises Andy for the way that he acts, especially the way that he treats their parents. So when Andy comes up to him and tries to solicit sympathy, Joe isn't afraid to start blaring his trumpet, much to the disdain of Andy.
You didn't want to go with Dad to my
Maybe I should show you what abuse does to an individual with this.
Please leave me.
I'm not going to leave this. Tomorrow I'm going to play what my doctors and school records show.
You're not going to leave? Then I'm going to call the police and have you removed,
Good,
Andy.
good, do so. I want you to.
Then get out!
Stop!
Then move! Get out of my room!
No, I'm not going to give in to you.
Chewy. How you doing, Chewy?
Routine only after my diagnosis because I've been fighting for one since school because I saw how a predictably environment
Get
only at CPC
out.
and school
No.
and home never had one.
Get
No, I'm not giving in to you.
out!
You can abuse me all you want. I'm not going.
Environment. Trouble with restricted
And please move, I gotta go to the bathroom.
No, I don't.
Move, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Then go.
19.
I'll follow
I
you.
had a reading level.
You're not following me,
Because I'm
because
going
then you're
downstairs to
harassing
make sure
me.
you hear how I feel. I don't want you to hurt my ears. I don't want you to hurt my ears. You're not hurting my ears. I'm not going to allow you to hurt my ears. I'm not going to allow you to hurt my ears. Move. I'm beating you. I don't want to be you abusing me.
My teachers gave me.
I don't want you to hurt my ears.
Rammed me in the wall.
Want you to abuse me.
Another thing that Andy is particularly fond of is covering up his ears and claiming that any loud noise is bothering him. Now you're probably saying, hey, Kiwi Tapes, that's awfully insensitive. You just heard that he suffered from processing issues. And I'd say that you're right. If Andy hasn't had a well-documented history of going to rock and roll concerts, that's right, the guy who assaulted his brother over a little trumpet playing is actively attending rock and roll concerts. If it was something more mellow like blues or jazz, maybe. But in my experience, the only thing louder than a rock concert is an EDM festival. You cannot tell me that that kind of environment, packed with people, really loud, is more acceptable to Andy than his brother simply playing the trumpet, and even his own father trying to play a little bit of rock on his guitar.
Okay, Andy, you need to go and get off out of my room because you're not welcome up here.
I need to get away from you.
It doesn't matter. You either
Get
go
away
outside
from me or I'm going,
or
please.
you sit in the living room while we finish eating, and then we'll be out of your way. We
No,
need to go.
you say that every
Andy,
single night.
follow
Andy will be
instructions.
up here until you come up.
No, Andy, get off my bed.
What is the address? Hello?
Help me, please! Help me, please! My dad's hurting my ears! I'm at home! Please sing me!
Tom, on the off chance you ever watch this, you're a great guitar player. And Joe, you really know how to play the trumpet, man. It's a shame that your brother/son will allow a crowd of complete strangers to enjoy their music, but God forbid you try to play a little bit of your own. They gave him like a 5-minute warning before they even started playing. His father told him what was going to go on and to either go outside or go to the living room somewhere where it wouldn't hurt his ears. What does Andy do? Fires up the video camera, and then completely ruins your jam session by calling the police. It seems like whenever the attention's not on Andy, then there's problems. He has this habit of making other family members' misfortune all about himself. When his father hurt his ankle real bad, Andy demanded to be taken to the hospital for sympathy pains, and when his mother's health was failing, Andy resented her for taking his father's attention from him. Andy really seems to hold his mother in contempt, and public opinion believes it is because she requires so much care from his father, care that Andy believes he should be receiving. Andy's parents are both elderly, and sometimes his mom requires a walker, but instead of seeing this and offering help, Andy feels jealousy. So one day when he found his mom collapsed on the floor, instead of helping her, Andy pulls out his video camera and starts recording.
Why did you fall when you were sitting on the toilet?
I got off the toilet.
And you can't get up, and you couldn't call anyone.
I did.
Okay, Google broadcast. Dad, Mom is on the floor. She fell right off the toilet. She's on the dog's bed. Did you lose? Is it sugar?
I hope not.
Why were you sitting in the toilet for 2 hours?
I'm doing a puzzle.
For 2 hours sitting in the toilet? Did you poop or anything?
No.
You were just peeing. You were sitting there.
Andy didn't lift a finger. He simply called his dad to come help. And then Joe coming in asking her what she's doing. The look she gives him is priceless. It's like, what the hell do you think I'm doing? Andy would rather see his mother struggling to get up than attempt to help her in any way but calling Dad. And this hasn't happened just once, but twice.
Dad, she's leaning off the chair and she's going to bend over.
She does a lot of things. That's why I say you gotta watch her.
She's like Grandma.
Andy, please.
Well, Mom, you don't do anything. You lay in bed all day.
So do you. So be quiet, please.
I lay...
you don't do much of either or anything
The
either.
past 2 days I was taking it easy for my emotional well-being, Dad.
There are two things about this video that really get me. First and foremost being the criticism that Andy is spewing forth. Sitting on the couch, wiggling his toes, and telling his mom that she's like Grandma, she doesn't do anything. All while his dad, who I've never seen without a lower back brace, helps her up to use her walker. Which leads me to my second point. Do these two people look like they could abuse Andy? Do they look like they should be legally required to take care of Andy? For Christ's sakes, Andrew went to the courts and tried to make them legally force his parents to change his diapers. You see, despite the way Andy acts, he's never afraid to get the legal process involved. In particular, he likes to bring up his rights quite often. Andy will go from speaking in the third person to then talking about why the police can't do this because it violates his human rights, all to the 911 operators who are very well familiar with who he is and what he tries to do to his family.
Well, I also went out of Dad's house. I have a right to throw out my diapers. I have a right to throw out my medications. I was allowed to throw out my medications pill by pill, but I'm not allowed to throw out my diapers because you guys are depriving me of my civil rights.
Andrew Ditch has contacted the police hundreds of times, usually claiming abuse suffered at the hands of his family, demanding that either the police officers make them provide him proper care or take him to a group home. The officers in the area, most of which know Andy, are extremely patient with him, especially the 911 operators. Andy has threatened them, told them lies that waste valuable police resources, and screamed in their ear. Not to mention the poor officers who Andy has flashed, assaulted, and subject to all of this madness for years. You would think that with how much Andy contacts the authorities, that he would have a modicum of respect for them, but it is the exact opposite, as just like everyone else, Andy sees them as there to serve him, and only him, leading to many negative personal interactions with the police.
I've been hit by a car so many times, and you know what? Put me on 941 because I'm going to run away from the house, from the hospital.
No, Andy, come on.
I'm running away. You can't hold me hostage.
Come on.
You can't hold me hostage.
We're not holding you hostage,
You're
but
holding me hostage.
We need you to
You're
go.
holding me hostage.
We need you to go down to the
You're
ED.
holding me hostage. Oh, you abuse me.
Andy.
You abuse me.
Why are we doing this?
You abuse me. Don't touch me. I don't want to be abused.
Stand up.
Sir, I have a right to leave without being escorted out.
Not right now, you don't.
You're on
Why?
private property right now.
You're on private property.
Then fine.
You've been discharged.
Fine. You hurt my back. You hurt my back. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Andy, we're trying to.
I'm leaving. I want to leave.
The exit is this way.
My arm is numb. I want to leave. I want to leave. Ouch.
They were simply trying to escort him out of the hospital, but Andy refused. He didn't want an escort. He wanted to go his own way, and that's what caused the issue. That clip was another brilliant display of Andy quoting his legal rights. Once he starts doing that, you can pretty much rest assured that he's not going to comply, because in his mind, you are no longer an authority figure. If you try to stop him, you will be one of the accused, one of the people responsible for making Andy's life as horrible as it is. Because as I've said before, that is the whole point of Andy whipping out the camera. When Andy whips out the camera, it's almost always in an attempt to solicit pity. He wants the people on his channel to see a video like that and see a man who is being abused by the system, as well as his family. It usually ends up displaying the exact opposite. A man in his 30s with complete disregard for his elderly parents. All I have seen in my time researching Andy is elder abuse. I feel like there is no better example of this as to when Andy got arrested for his oil diffuser. This is probably the second most infamous event in Andrew Ditch lore. Don't worry, the first is yet to come. But as for the oil diffuser arrest, it's a doozy. It starts out with Andy putting an exorbitant amount of oil into his oil diffuser, a humidifier type device which you can add scents to that will spread throughout the room. The only problem is that certain types of oils have been known to affect people with breathing issues, as well as animals. Andy's parents and their dogs all started to experience breathing issues, and upon confronting Andy about this, he refused to shut the oil diffuser off, claiming that it was for his emotional health, and that they had absolutely no right to make him turn it off. The police were called, and an interaction would ensue that would end with Andy in cuffs.
It was so strong that you got that heart problem and breathing problem. I had to put the oxygen on. We asked him to turn it off. He refuses to do that. This morning when we came back from papers, the same thing. Even Joe, you can ask him. He had to go upstairs. We couldn't stand it because we're trying to eat, and he can't eat when it smells so bad. I have no idea. You'd have to ask him. He's videotaping us too.
I don't have to. You're not. Is it court order?
We want to know if we can press charges because this is our home and it's bothering our breathing.
You didn't ask me to turn off.
Could you stop shining that light in my face?
I can. Is that order or is that a violation? You're gonna arrest me for having my light on camera?
No, I'm asking you as a matter of human decency if you could stop shining a bright
Well,
light
I did nothing wrong except for just trying to sit here, relax.
So I'm asking you to shut the oil diffuser off.
It's for my coping skills. And I don't have to answer to you unless it's a court order for it.
Andy, can you please not?
If there's a court order, is that a request or is it an order?
It doesn't have to be a court order. Why do you have to talk like this all the time?
Is that a request or is that a court order for me not having my oil diffuser that helps me relax?
You don't have to. You don't need that. Your parents have. Your mother's on oxygen. It's bothering her. Okay?
I'm calling my lawyer.
Stand up and put your hands behind your back.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Stand up and put your hands behind your back.
You're hurting me?
Charged with resisting arrest.
I didn't do anything. Stand up! Right now! You're hurting me!
Stand up.
You're hurting me!
Stand up.
You're abusing me!
Well, that's what happened.
I'm hurting.
You get your hands behind your back.
You're gonna shoot me! You're gonna shoot me! You're gonna
Services, this is Haley. How can I help you?
What?
I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm being arrested for my oil diffuser.
Okay, why are you being arrested right now?
For my oil diffuser. Officer He's arresting me for my oil diffuser.
Refusing to put his hands behind his back, so now he's going to be charged with resisting.
I didn't do anything other than have an oil diffuser on. You're abusing me! Stop it! You're abusing me! Stop! You're abusing me! Yeah, I don't have to.
The oil diffuser incident is the perfect encapsulation of Andy's character. People politely ask him to turn off his oil diffuser because his mother is on oxygen and it's bothering her. Andy says no, the cops are called, and he resists the cops. That officer has had many interactions with Andy and was extremely patient with him throughout this whole thing. You have to wonder if this is really the outcome that Andy wants. Overly standoffish, unwilling to cooperate, and unwilling to believe that he is anything but the victim. And as soon as he's taken into custody, he starts making accusations against the officer and calling crisis hotlines. A lot of the content you've seen throughout here that's been audio have been messages that Andy has recorded himself while he's either talking to police or some kind of social services. During all of these calls, Andy is claiming to be the victim of some grave injustice, when in my opinion, it's been the family of Andy who have really been victimized. If you want proof of this, then look no further than the time Andy poisoned every one of them. Andrew Ditch has had a long history of tampering with people's food and drink. His father highly suspects that he was the cause of his antifreeze poisoning. He put super hot sauce in chili to serve to his two elderly parents, admits to putting laxatives in his father's coffee as a child, and then the most infamous incident in all of Andy Ditch lore. I'll let his local news station give you the rundown.
A man from the city of Tonawanda faces 3 felony charges accused of spiking the food of several of his family members. Police say 34-year-old Andrew Ditch put Epsom salts and laxatives in the food and the water reservoir of the family's coffee machine. Now, the family members knew something was wrong when they all started to suffer from nausea, abdominal pain, and severe diarrhea. Ditch was arraigned and is being held on $5,000 bail. He will return to court tomorrow for a felony hearing.
He denies it. Last year, me and his brother, and even my wife, got sick constantly, running the job, diarrhea, even crap in our pants. Don't know way to describe it, and we got frustrated. And he made a comment to one of his friends on the internet that he put laxative and Epsom salt in our food, our coffee and drinks, saying, you better really get close and run to the toilet. And I was wondering why my stomach is hurting so bad. Like I told my wife the one day, I wanted to go to the hospital, but I didn't because I was just doubled up pain. And the strange thing is that since he's been gone, even though he doesn't like to hear it, we no longer have the problem, none of us. And it was going on for at least 6 months on and off here and there.
Wow.
And we thought it was something else.
For over 6 months, Andy was tampering with their food and drink. For those who don't know, Epsom salt is a magnesium supplement and laxative. Given the fact that Andy uses diapers, I would say that he's well versed in what the Epsom salt does, as well as the laxatives that he used to poison his elderly parents and brother. To what end, I have no idea. Like I've said, that part of Andy's personality is extremely disgusting and disturbing, so I would not be surprised if he got some kind of sick satisfaction out of it. Andy has done so much to his family, and many believe it is in an attempt to be placed in a group home. Andy has been placed in facilities before, but he doesn't have a good track record when it comes to respecting authority, so he is always swiftly ejected from the program, and the help is cut off from him forever. And you can't really blame these organizations when not only have they put up with Andy for thousands of hours already, but he's also spitting on the medical professionals, all because they won't let him leave, even though his doctor has ordered him to stay.
Can I please leave?
Sir, no. The doctor
Why?
said no. The doctor said no.
I want to leave.
Hey, man, come on.
I want to leave. Can I please leave?
No.
I have a right.
Watch out. That's how you're gonna be.
I'm asking to leave. I have a right to leave.
Before you leave after that crap.
I'm sorry, but you can't hold me against my will. I'm asking to leave. And I'm glad to be arrested.
Assaults a man in a disgusting way in front of a police officer, then asks to please leave. In a nutshell, that is Andy Ditch. This has happened with countless medical services to the point where they don't really even have any more to offer him. He has degraded, insulted, and threatened so many people that he no longer is allowed to use many of these social services. Let me read you some statistics real quick about how much time and resources were used on Andy. 1,000 hours of securing medical records, 1,500 hours of crisis management, 200 hours of listening to consumer recordings, over 2,000 emails reviewed and responded to, 200 hours of medical advocacy, 10 hours of advocacy with law enforcement, submitted 5 updates to the Office of People with Developmental Disabilities to assist with determining eligibility. This single organization has spent over 3,000 hours assisting Andrew Ditch in one way or another, and Andy will still claim in his videos that he receives no help for his disabilities. The many contradictions of Andrew Ditch paint a very clear picture of the truth. Andy will say that he has problems with loud noises and go out to rock concerts. He'll say he receives no help from his parents when they help him as much as they physically can at their old age. He says he receives no help from mental services or the police when they've spent thousands of hours helping him. And he claims to have autism when it has been factually proven that he does not. Why does he do all of this, you ask? Common consensus is pity. Andrew Ditch wants you to look at his channel and see a man who has been absolutely abused by the system and his family. But anyone who takes a closer look sees right through that facade. Andrew has been doing stuff like this for years, and it shows absolutely no signs of stopping. You would think that your family dismissing the charges after you poisoned them would change your outlook, but if you ever go to Andy's brother Joe's channel, you'll get the real story, and you'll see just what the Ditch family struggles with daily. I will remember Andrew Ditch's story as one of the darkest and most depraved I have ever covered, with twists and turns I never expected, images I never wanted to see, nor will be able to unsee, and interactions so bizarre that they could only come from a man called the Poop Squatch.